Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this front step card. I saw the idea in a magazine and I thought that's absolutely brilliant. It stands up on the shelf like this. I'm not sure that I can get this to stand up because I've got a ceiling fan going above me. We're enjoying a heat wave at the moment. Well, I'm enjoying it, lots of people aren't. Right, are you going to stand? There we go. For a little while it will, and then it will topple over. This is the second one I made. This is the first one where I used some retired designer series paper, apart from this one that I did the dress with. And I can't believe how difficult I made that. Now that I've sussed out how to do it, it is surprisingly easy. But this one wasn't. Okay, so I'm going to change the cardstock, the colour, and also the designer series paper. So let me start off by telling you the pieces we're going to need. And as there are so many pieces of cardstock, I have already layered the designer series paper onto the coloured cardstock. So to start off with, and I've also written the sizes on, this is because there's so many I didn't want to get myself confused with it. So the first piece measures 4 1/8 inches by 10 3/4 inches, which is 10.5 by 27.3 centimetres. The next piece is 2 5/8 inches by 6.5 inches, which is 6.6 by 16.5 centimetres. I will be putting all the measurements in the box below, where there's two little arrows down there. If you press the second arrow, it'll open the box up so you can see everything in there. Then there's a piece of Calypso coral, which measures 2.5 inches by 4 5/8 inches, which is 6.3 by 11.6 centimetres. And the designer series paper, which is Delightful Daisy, this measures 2 3/8 inches by 4.5 inches. There's another piece of Delightful Daisy, and this measures 2.5 inches by 1 1/8 inches, which is 6.3 by 2.8 centimetres. And the designer series paper is 2 3/8 inches by 1 inch, which is 2.5 centimetres. And then for the other designer series paper, I've got a lighter design here. The Calypso coral measures 4 by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.2 by 14.3 centimetres. And the designer series paper is 3 7/8 inches by 5.5 inches, which is 9.9 centimetres by 14 centimetres. And then there is a piece of Calypso coral which measures 4 inches by 1 7/8 inches, which is 10.2 by 4.7 centimetres. And that has a piece of designer series paper which measures 3 7/8 inches by 1 3/4 inches, which is 9.9 by 4.4 centimetres. Then there's another piece of Calypso coral which measures 4 inches by 1 1/8 inches, which is 10.2 by 2.8 centimetres. And the designer series paper is 3 7/8 inches by 1 inch, which is 9.9 centimetres by 2.5 centimetres. And then you will need a piece that's 3 by 2, which is for the lady from Beautiful You. Then there is a piece that, 3 by 2 is 7.6 by 5.1 centimetres. There's another piece of designer series paper which measures 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches, which is 8.8 by 6.3 centimetres, and that's going to be the layer under the lady. as you can see, I've got the lady on one piece and then there's another one underneath. Then you'll need a scrap for the sentiment, and then you'll need a piece of designer series paper to do the paper piecing for the lady's hat and her dress. Okay, so they're all the pieces that we need. I might do that in future. It was less confusing having all those sizes written down. Right, what we're going to start off with first are the two big white pieces, and we're going to score these. So I'll bring up my scoreboard first. Let's move that out of the way so I don't crush it. Right, so with the long piece, you need to score this at, I'll give you the measurements first and then the metric, and then I will actually do it. So it's 1/2 inch, and then 1 3/4 inches, then 3 3/4 inches, and then 5 inches. Metric, that's 1.2 centimetres, 4.4 centimetres, 9.5 centimetres, and 12.7 centimetres. Okay, so first of all we'll do 1/2 inch and 1 3/4 inches and 3 3/4 inches, and 5 inches. I won't slow there because I'm thinking that I'm going to fold it that way, isn't it? So that's going to be showing outwards. So I should remember to put that on the reverse side. Never mind, let's just erase that. Mind you, it's going to be covered up anyway, so no big problem with that. So there's that one. Now with the smaller piece, which I will remember to turn over, you need to score this at 1/2 inch, which is 1.2 centimetres, and then 1 3/4 inches, which is 4.4 centimetres. So that's 1/2 inch and 1 3/4. Right, that's that. If you can just excuse me for a minute, I can hear a door banging. Sorry, that's one of the disadvantages of enjoying nice weather. All the windows are open, and of course it does get a breeze going through. I thought I'd anchored that door down, but obviously not, so I apologise about that. Right, so let's fold our pieces, and we'll use our bone folder so that we get nice creases. And as you fold these over, as always, make sure that your cut lines are matching up with each other. There's that one. I really can't believe that I made the first one. So much hard work. When you'll see how easy this is. I wish you, in fact, it would have been nice if you had seen it. I was trying to use Tombow. It's one of those rare occasions when I don't think Tombow is the best. But you'll see why when we come to that. Just put it down to too much hot weather, not coping with it too well. Right, okay, so that's better because that's going to be like that, so that will be on the inside. And that one was erased anyway, so as I've taken the one out, I'll take the other one out as well. There we go. Right, so first things first, I'm going to put all my layers on, and when I'm planning my designs, what I do with both these, I try and get a light colour in the background, okay, with a white background basically, which is what this one is as well, and then I try and get a darker one here, That's it, like that. That's just what I do. It's not anything, it's not written in stone or anything. You can do exactly how you like, but that's just an idea of how I work my colours out. Right, I'm going to use Tombow. You can use fast fuse for this. Right, okay, so the side you want to do it is make sure that your box is folding up. There we go, so there's that one. Never know whether these are upside down or not. I do wonder if that one is. Well, I'm not worrying about it, making a video. Right, now that that one's on that side, we've got to turn this over and we've got to put two pieces, one on there and one on there. So, yep. You could do, you could decorate on the inside of this as well. Let me just show you what the inside of these look like. It's all plain white there, apart from the bits that we've decorated. I wouldn't go to that much trouble, but you can do obviously if you want to. Right, so that's that one done. I'm sure that's upside down. Mind you, not much of it is going to be showing anyway. So on this piece, with the box turning inwards, you want to put your DSP that way, and then the other one is going to be going on top there. And then this last piece. There we go. Now to put our box together, the easy way is I'm going to use red sticky strip. But if you want to use fast fuse, that would be brilliant. So the first one is I need a piece on here. So this is the biggest piece, and with these two pieces facing uppermost, I'm going to put red sticky strip along here. If you're using this, which I suppose is about 1/4 of an inch, you could probably get 2 strips along there. I'm only going to put 1 strip. If, like me, you're only going to do 1, then make it as close to the fold line as possible, and make sure that you do actually start right at the end. Okay, so there's that one. Just make sure that's all stuck down nicely. Right, nice easy way of knowing where to close your box on this one. If you remove your red backing and you fold this over, and you fold it over so that you're only showing these two. That one there is still hidden, and then if you fold that one back, fold your sticky bit back, keep it lifting upwards. Let me turn that sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, keep it up out of the way, folded tight like that. What we're going to do is we're going to put that against here. So if I keep it straight like that, make sure these sides are lining up, and then pop it straight down. Okay, so then you find your box is a perfect rectangle. Okay, so that was the easy way. Would you believe it? I tried doing that with Tombow. Yeah, I know, I can hear you having a little giggle. That's alright. Now what we need to do is a piece on here by the crease line again. So that's on the outside. You've got the designer series paper facing you. Make sure it starts right at the end, as close to that crease as possible, and right towards the end. And then this time you also need a piece at the bottom of the long piece. Right, you've got your box piece up here, the shelf bit, so you need it down there. And that's on the inside. I did mean to get the name of the magazine, if I could see it, that I got this idea from. If I can't find it, I will look for it and post it in the details in the box below. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this back, and we are going to take this backing off first. Okay, so you've got your designer series paper towards you. Take the red backing off. Right, so you've got your box at the bottom here. Keep an eye on this because you don't want this to go down too soon, this sticky bit. So I'm holding mine up, okay, keeping it away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this designer series paper on top of that one. And I'm going to line this up at the bottom. Don't let it come over at all. It doesn't matter if it's a little tad shorter, but it mustn't come any longer, otherwise your box will never stand up. And once you're happy that that is straight, which I think it probably is, then you're going to very carefully go up here, fold that inwards and adhere it down. Okay, so that's your shelf bit there. So our card is coming together. So the next bit we need to do is this bit of sticky. So if you take your red backing off, now I've let mine come over the edge here a bit. I'm not going to cut it off, I'm going to just show you how you can tuck it back in if you're a new crafter and you've not experienced the pleasures of this red sticky strip. But just use your paper piercer and drag it back on itself and it will just stick down. Right, so to make sure that this folds nicely to go in your card, in your envelope rather, you have your card really nice and flat, and you just bring this over and let that stick down there. So there's not going to be any problems getting that into your envelope. There we go. How easy was that? Let's see if you will stand up for me. There we go, for a little while anyway. The fan will knock it over, but there we go. Just to let you know it does work. So what I'm going to do now is the decoration. I'm going to use the Happy Birthday, which is, there we go, the Happy Birthday, which is from the Beautiful Bouquet stamp set. It's one of the new ones, and it comes with a set of framelits as well, bouquet bunch framelits. These are 60% of their size because there's so many. There's 37 stamps in here, and they've had to shrink it all down to get them in, which makes it more difficult to find out which one I've used. Oh, there we go, Happy Birthday. Obviously it's not that small, but lovely stamp set, that one. So that's my scrap of paper. And what colour? I'm going to use Calypso Coral, which I've forgotten to bring over with me. That's no problem, it's not a million miles away. Right. There we go. It's lovely. So there's that one. The only other stamping we need is to stamp the lady. We need to stamp her twice. Once on here and then once on here, because we're going to do paper piecing for her dress. So the Beautiful You, this is just one of the the boxes. I've forgotten to bring the other one over, but there are two boxes. There are 3 ladies to this set. Amazingly popular at the moment, really. We've had that for a year now, and it's just gorgeous. I hope it's going to stay around for a very long time. People are just keep coming out with such amazing ideas. This one I've seen somebody do as a lady in a bathing suit. I mean, who would have thought of that? Right, let me just get this in the centre. Stop talking while I concentrate. There we go, that's fine. And I'll put her onto this one as well. There we go. When you're cutting out this one, because it's a sketch image, as in it's not perfect, like where you've got pieces like this here, oops, come down a bit, like you got the lines there and you decide where am I going to go. It really doesn't matter, but I would suggest, if you're unsure about it, go for the inside line, because all of these black lines are going to be on the image down here anyway. You may or may not agree with that, but I find it a useful thing to go by if I'm ever unsure. Sometimes I just go on the outside anyway, because that's what I think is right. But sometimes I look at these and I think, which way? I could have done this in advance, but one of the reasons I haven't is for anybody who's not seen this lady being fussy cut out before. I just wanted to give you some tips on doing the hat, because on the image there is no, apart from her lips, there's no definition on her face. So that really is a question of where do I cut for this. So I'm going to show you what I do, but I must say there are other ways of doing it. Right, so let's cut her head off. There's no line at the bottom. You can either cut off where that black line is or where the black lines finish here. I tend to go down for the longer one. It really doesn't matter. Now for her hat, if you do the top of it first, to start off with, what I do is if we cut round like that where her hat is, if you imagined that there wasn't any kind of face there, let me show it to you this way. And then what I do is I cut up on the left hand side of her hair, on this side, just here, and then I do another cut some distance in front of her mouth. Some people cut all of that piece off because you still have all of this white showing if you did cut it off from there. It really is just a matter of choice. I personally like to leave some of the hat there, so it's got a bit of colour. Right, let's see if I can cut that little piece off. That's better. Okay, I'll show you this and it'll help you decide whether you like it like this or whether you'd prefer to cut the whole thing off. Just bear in mind I haven't stuck that down just yet. I'll do it now because I might forget later once I have done it. Okay. See, I like to have a little bit of colour there. Right. So let's get rid of those pieces. I'm going to use Tombow. Methinks. I don't think this weather is very Tombow friendly. That's better. I'm just going to blot that off a bit. I've got rather a lot of glue on there. Right, so oops, I just put my hand on that glue. Blot myself off as well now. Right, let's turn this one over. I think I might have left that sleeve a bit longer than on the other side. Just cut a little bit off. That's better. Okay, so that's the paper piecing on the lady. have a look at the lines here, what I've done, so again you can see what you think about it and which way you want to go. Okay, so there's that. Now I need to bring my big shot up, do that, and that. It's just the 3 bits, and I'm going to be using my stitched shape framelits, and I'm using numbers 1, 3 and 4 of the ovals. So first of all, the greeting. Now what I try and do with this, no, I'm not sure, am I? Right, what I try and do here is, because it's a tad too big, the sentiment is a tad too big, so the stitching is going to go through some of the writing, and I'd much rather it go through the B and the Y rather than the happy, so I position that in such a way that I hope I can achieve that. For the lady, she's number 3. Right, and turn that slightly, and then this one is the one I'm going to layer her on. If you wanted, you could do this layer in the colour of the cardstock that you've been using. This case would have been Calypso Coral. I did think about it, although I've used white on both of the others, largely because I didn't think that, particularly the Night of Navy, I didn't really think that the Night of Navy cardstock would show up very well on it. Let me show you what I mean on that. On here, if I'd put Night of Navy under here, I'm not sure it would have showed up too much like that. You can see it's there, but it's not terribly obvious, which is why I've done the 2 like that. But on this one, it would be perfectly okay, because there's quite a difference between the cardstock and the designer series paper. Right, there we go. There's the lady. Beautiful lady. Happy birthday. There you go. You can see how I mean. Let's put the other hand up. I don't know why it's easier. I'm right-handed. You can see it as the stitching's gone through the B and the Y, but it's just about missed the happy. So that makes me happy. And then the one for the layering. There we go. Right, let's move those over. Just move this out of the way. Now we just need to put this together. Okay, so I'm going to have that, and that, and that. Now these top 2 I did dimensionals. I think this one I used small dimensionals on. I don't know if you've tried, whether you've tried these small ones or not, but I tell you, they really are brilliant. I mean, normally I would have put 2 big ones on there, and I don't know what the size difference is with these. You know, whether they're 1/3 of the size of big ones or what. I haven't actually heard anybody say anything about that. Right, you can move up a bit. So that's just going to go at the bottom. My finger's getting in the way. Right, there we go. And then this one, I think what I did was I did a large one top and bottom, and then a small one side to side. which I thought was absolutely ample. So I'm just going to pop that into the centre there. Okay, and then I'm going to use Tombow to put it on there. I'm not going to do double dimensionals. There we go. And that is today's project. If I was making this card as a greeting card for somebody, I would do more decoration to it. I'd probably do some flowers around here. I might do ribbons or something. But for the video, the point of the video is to show you how to make a front step card and how to do basic decoration on it. I'm sure you've got loads of ideas of your own that you'll apply to add to this. It's a beautiful card though. Really, really pleased with this project. Hope you like it too. Many thanks for joining me today. If you have any comments to make or questions to ask, please click on the second arrow below the video, and that will open up the box. Inside there you'll find space to write comments, or you can email me at janb@janbcards.com. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, not this cardstock because this one has actually retired, not her dress, that's a current one, but the dark blue one. If you go to the box below, there'll be a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays. And finally, I will put all the measurements and all the products that I've used and where you need to do the scoring, etc. in the box below. It will also be on my blog, but if you don't want to go over there, it's down there. If you do go to my blog to get the measurements and everything, do have a look around because I normally post a new card there every day. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.